Hi, awesome watercolor card makers. I'm Lisa, and I am unboxing and playing with the new Spellbinder Butter Press made for your Sizzix or your Spellbinder die cutting machine. I love this product. I played with it all day, and it has not disappointed. It is so much fun. It comes with the plate, the paper, a die or a stamp, along with the ink. And so let's get this box open and see what there is. It's so fun. Alright, so they packaged it really nice. Did not have any problems with it. That's the 20, maybe 90-pound watercolor paper that they used. It's not very thick. The tape and the ink that comes with it, along with the plate to put your paper on and the plate that you put your stamp on. And that is what is included in the box, and it is just a wonderful starter set. And I love that the Butter Press has the manual. It also has shims, so you depending on what kind of paper you need, and then it's magnetic, so it's not going to go and make a big mess with your stamps. So I really like that actually a lot. And it might even work as a MISTI if you don't have a MISTI. I haven't tried that yet, but be curious to find out. So right now I'm just taping my paper that came with the Butter Press, the probably 90-pound cotton rag paper. It's nice paper. It's not as thick as watercolor paper that I'm used to, but it works. And I'm just positioning that metal stamp onto the platform, and I'm going to ink it up with the archival ink, and it's bleed proof, so it's not going anywhere once it's set, and it dries really fast. You'll see me run my hand across the paper as soon as it's out of my Sizzix, and it doesn't smear, which is really nice. Alright, so now it's positioned and ready to go. I'm going to put my shims on and just let it go through my Sizzix. There's that. We're going to look at the big reveal, and it's so pretty. Look at how gorgeous that is. It just looks like a piece of artwork. It is my favorite. It's just so much fun. Look at how beautiful that is. And I'm running my thumbs through it to feel the engraving part of it. It's really pretty. Alright, so I got some ink on the plate, the magnetic part of it, so I'm going to just take some rubbing alcohol and I'm just going to scrub it down, and it cleans up the ink. Nothing too much, it's just a nice little tip to have. So when the ink gets on your metal plate, just clean it up. Alright, now I'm going to watercolor. I'm using a Viridian green for the leaves, a very warm New Gamboge yellow, and a rose color. And I will probably use some hibiscus color from Dino Smith. It's a metallic. And I'm just going to paint and have fun. In the centers, I am adding just a little bit of yellow. That yellow is going to run into the I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to make my green. I wanted a lighter green. I'm adding the red to tone down the green so it's not so bright green in nature. I don't really see a whole lot of bright green, so I wanted to tone it down to make it look a little bit more natural. And then just painting my leaves. Okay, well, it's as clear as it's going to be. And move on. I really love this set. I think it's pretty just the way it is, but I wanted to add some red, some of that rose color. 3 flowers. A couple, 3 or 6 pigments to make almost every single color in the rainbow. Pigments for each other. And that's why a lot of artists will use different palettes. This would be a high key. You need a lot of bright colors, but with some bright colors, you need a lot of ingredients. That the top got kind of cut off, so my workaround for that is to use a die cut and send it through my Sizzix, and now I can glue that onto some cardstock and just like that, and then I have my perfect card. But I'm not done yet. The white was too stark against the green, so I'm adding some of that autumn mystery, like metallic color from Daniel Smith, and I love it, and I'm just going to splatter all over it. And then, because I want it to not feel so stark, I'm going to then take my clean wet brush and I'm just going to kind of like dirty it up a little bit so it looks almost like a marbled touch to it, and it really gives a nice little technique. I have been doing this with my cards for quite a while now, and it never seems to disappoint. Now I'm splattering onto wet, and so the splatters are just going to be very diffused almost, which is what I wanted. And then, because I'm still not completely done, I'm adding a darker, almost border around the border. I'm adding a border of autumn mystery around, and I love this pigment for that. It's like a neutral metallic color. It's like a copper, but it's just really pretty, and it's from Daniel Smith. It's one of my favorites. I use it often. Alright, next play I wanted to play with is a robin. I am re-inking my own ink pad because I like ink pads that are very juicy, that can get a lot of pigment on without a lot of work. So I re-inked my ink pad and it's ready to go. And this is the robin plate. And I keep thinking that it's more like a stamp, and it's not. It's a it is a stamp, but the paper is on the other side. So have your stamp always facing up, and then you have your paper ready to go. This time I'm using tape, and I'm being very careful not to get it onto the die, so I'm not making that mistake again. And it's looking good. I always like to make sure that my guides are right. I'm putting on my shims. This is with the 140-pound watercolor paper, so a little bit thicker. And we're just going with it. Oh, look at that beautiful robin. All right, now that I got the robin printed, I wanted to play with a background stamp. So I I just put tape on the back of my panel, and then I'm going to run it through because I don't want any tape on my paper because it'll show through, it'll mask, and I don't want it to be masked. And I love my ink pads that are really inky, but you can see that I got a little bit of ink up there, and I didn't want it to show up on the paper, so I'm cleaning it with alcohol, rubbing alcohol. And now I'm going to just take that little bit corner and do it again. And now I'm ready ready to go. And I will say that those shims really do work well. And I do add a little bit more to it. I really wanted a good imprint, and so I just added some extra cardstock that I had laying around to make the imprint even more pronounced. And there we go. And gently take it off with the tape, and you can feel, I can feel the imprint, and that's exactly what we're looking for. And I think I do another one just like that. Now this die comes with a die and you'll see I was able to get that stamp done, and then I die cut it with the little, with the shape that went with it right there, like that. Use some tape to keep it straight and happy so it doesn't move when I put it through the cutter. And you have to use a different cutting plate. I use the normal sandwich one that comes with the civics. And there we go, we got a perfect sentiment for the card, just like that, and I'll put it right like that once I get it watercolored. I like having all my pieces cut at once, so it's easy, the workflow is easy. Now I'm using this beautiful background plate. It has lots of pieces to it. I was on the, I wanted one more where I could really use it for lots of different things, and so this is me positioning it. It's the full size of the card, so I don't have to worry about cutting it to a certain size. And then I thought, well, a nice thank you card for a teacher might actually be really nice. So that's what I'm doing. I'm inking it up really nice, really well, getting a good imprint. And I don't want to actually put the paper onto the thing, but I want to make sure that I have it. And I always cut a lot of paper, so I have more than enough paper to make it work. And again, I'm just gonna put tape on the back so it doesn't move, so I have a good imprint. And that's what I'm doing here, lining up with my registration marks. And that looks about right. And now I'm ready to run it through the Sizzix again. And I'm actually using a gasket this time, and that actually gives a really good imprint. But you only need one shim, not three. There we go, that's beautiful. And we're rocking and rolling and ready to keep going with the watercolor. I will say tape is your best friend with this project. And I actually am starting a new one. The thing I like about this is like you can print like 6 or 7 at a time with no problems. It'd be really fast to do. So I'm not going to bore you with all those details, but I did print a couple more of these. Now for this one, I didn't want I wanted the butterfly by itself. I didn't necessarily care about the thank you part, but so you can also mask in that. So I just use the tape, and that's so I don't get any ink onto the thing, and then I'll take it off. And then there won't be any ink on that part. And we'll run that through. No. That didn't quite work as I wanted it to, so let's try that again. Sometimes it's trial and error, and it will work. And so there we go. And that will work. it didn't work as well as the first try, but trial and error always works, and you never know what you're going to get until you try it. So I always try something new. If I don't like it, I will then scrap it and say, okay, well, that didn't work. On to the drawing board for the next try. And then I'm just cleaning that up so it's nice and tidy and clean. I will say it's not too bad of an ink process. Alright, I'm using lots of different blues. I'm starting light, and it's just going to be a nice wash throughout the whole painting. And then I'm going to add in 2 layers. Just a nice little wash. This card doesn't need a whole lot. I thought about painting just individual flowers and leaves, but that felt like that would be tedious, and I'm more of a free-flowing artist. I like to be creative, and I like to use color a lot, and I thought I better just stick with the idea of what I had to begin with. So this is an electric blue pigment that is very metallic, and I'm adding like this really pretty turquoise color. And just to give it some depth to it. Using some beautiful metallic color that I love. And it always dries lighter, so keeping that in mind, I just keep adding color to the color. Adding a wash literally on top of everything, and that pink is so transparent that the yellow is still shine through. Beautiful colors that just kind of connects everything together, especially when you're painting flowers. So sometimes you get your things done first, you can kind of get a better idea of the balance of the color that you're looking for, and that is what I'm doing. So fun. I often move my turn on the lot because I like to paint. I'm painting these little wildflowers as a chicory. We have wild chicory growing, and it's just so much fun. I saw that the line was needing done. Alright, so I'm letting all that dry, and I'm going to work on my beautiful rabbit. looks good and I'm happy with it. So anyways, these cards are just beautiful, and I hope you give them a try. They are just so much fun to play with. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I produce video content every week for watercolor cards. Thanks for watching.